Hello, good morning, dear children. Again, we are back with the rest of the stanzas of the poem The Road Not Taken. Let's see the third and fourth stanza. The third stanza begins with, and both that morning equally lay. Meaning of equally lay means lying in the same manner. Second line, in leaves no step had trodden black. Trodden means walked, stepped, crushed, walked, stepped, crushed by feet. Now let's see the meaning. The poet says that both the paths, both the roads were similar. On that morning, he was standing at the diversion at the fork, and he saw both the roads were similar, were equally same. That morning, both had leaves on them. See, on both the roads there were leaves, and no one had stepped on them. No one had walked on them, as they were still green in color. The leaves were still green in color. The fallen leaves were not crushed by the footsteps. No travelers have come and gone on that road. So the leaves were still green. It was not trodden. It was not crushed. Next line, oh, I kept the first for another day. See, the speaker seems to be regretting, feeling sorry. His decision, he is regretting his decision already. The sentence is emphatic as it starts with oh and ends with an exclamation. Actually, children, he decided that day he would take one road, one path, and keeps the other path, the second road, for another day. Although he knew that one way leads to another way. You can see the knowing how way leads on to another way. So he took the one road, that was the second road, and he left the first road, and he knew that one way leads on to another way. He knew that he could not go back on the choice that he had made. See, children, how way leads on to way. It means that one road leads someone to the other, and there is no turning back. Once you start traveling that road, you go on, but there is no turning back. So the poet was also knowing that. Similarly, even in our life too, once we choose an option, any option, we must keep on moving ahead with that option. We must go ahead, keep moving ahead with that option only, and we never get a chance, an opportunity to come back and take the other option that we had left earlier. Like the poet chose the second road, he traveled on the second road. Later, he decided to come back and take the first road. He decided to come back and travel on the first road, but it was too late. So, in all practicality, it may not be possible to start afresh, anew, especially in the later part of our life. For example, children, if you have chosen to become an engineer or doctor in your life, and you start on the journey of your life, but after 1 and 2 years of taking that degree, you feel like to choose another option due to some economical crisis, due to some problems, or due to some other problems, other issues from your family. You decide to quit the profession of doctor and you feel to take some other profession. Then you have missed 2 years. You have missed your 2 years, and again you are thinking to start a new journey, a new option, a new choice in your life. So here also the poet traveled on the second road, and after traveling for few years he decided to come back and again start the first road. So children, in practicality it's not possible to start afresh, to start anew, especially in the later part of our life, children. And here only we get a message that I will tell you in the end. Now we are moving on to stanza number 4, the last stanza. See children, the last stanza 4 is entirely written in future tense. I shall be telling. So here he says that in the future he will take a deep breath. The word meaning of sigh, S-I-G-H, means deep breath. This deep breath may be of sadness, happiness, or reflective. This deep breath may be of sadness, may be of happiness, or may be of reflective. So he will also be taking a deep breath and will say that once upon a time he had reached such a point in life that there were two options for him, and he traveled on that road which had been traveled upon by lesser number of people. That decision of his decided his future. So the speaker, the narrator, the poet would be detailing his experience to the coming generation. You can see the second line given, somewhere ages and ages. Ages and ages meaning for periods, for the coming generations. He would be narrating it to the coming generation, to the future children, and will share his experience that when he was standing at a fork, he had two options. He chose the second road and left the first road to come back from the second road and to start that first road, but it was too late in his life. So this he will be sharing to all the coming generation children, to all the ages and ages of future, and that will decide the future. Similarly, children, in future when you grow up, then you will say that once upon a time when you were young, you had two options. The choice that you made you what you become of it. This is a very strong message for you all children, and so you should be wise and be careful while making choices out of the options that you have in your life, because your future depends on the choice that you make today. And one more children, one point from my side. Dear children, whatever the choices you decide in your life, like the poet has two options, first road and second road, he went on the first road. So for you two children, whatever the choices could be in your life, you must go ahead till you get success in your life. Children, you must face all the challenges, all the difficulties, all the obstacles, all the hindrances, all the obstructions, all the hurdles that comes in the path of your life. These hindrances may be economical problem of your parents, may be many and many problems from your family, and you will be sick, you will be tired of all these problems, and you feel like to quit from your profession. And these all are your problems that comes in the journey of your life. So dear children, keep moving ahead and ahead and ahead till you get success. Don't turn back and think to start again. It will be too late in your life. So children, what is the message of the poem? The poet conveys a very important message in this poem. He tells us that man comes across many situations, many difficulties when he has to take a decision which sometimes can be crucial. We must make the right choice by keeping in mind that opportunity knocks only once. Chance comes only once. But whatever the chance comes in your life, choose that chance, go ahead, keep moving, face all the challenges, difficulties, unless and until you get success. So, the explanation is over, children. Now, let's come to the literary devices used in the poem. See the children, first the poetic device. For poetic device, first we come to the rhyme scheme. See the rhyme scheme in the first stanza. See the last line of all. See the last word of the first line, first stanza. See the last word, children. See here, first is wood. You will put A. See children, rhyme scheme means the words rhyming must have same sound words like cat, rat, bat. So here wood, we have started with A. Both is not rhyming, having same sound with wood. Then we will write B. You can see stood is rhyming with wood, so we will write A. Could is also rhyming with A. And undergrowth is not rhyming with A, wood, so we will write here both and undergrowth. Both are rhyming same. So rhyming scheme is A, B, A, B. Now number 2 is metaphor. Okay, metaphor. The poem as a whole is a metaphor because the poet is metaphorically comparing the roads. In the title you have seen, to the road not taken. And the poem begins with 2 roads. So the roads in the wood to the poet is comparing the roads in the forest to the choices one must make in life. So this is metaphor. The road is compared to the choices one must make in life. The poet compares himself to a traveler. This is also a metaphor. The road is a metaphor for the journey of life. The undergrowth, that is wild bushes, the dense shrubs and bushes at the end of the road not taken symbolizes the difficulties, symbolizes the obstacles, the hurdles and the obstruction. Now coming to children, anaphora. See the third one, anaphora. For this we have to go in the first stanza. In the first stanza, see what is anaphora. See, anaphora, the repetition of a word at the start of 2 or more consecutive lines. You can see in the second line and, again in the third line and, again in the fourth line and. To see and in all the consecutive lines 2, 3 and 4. These are example of anaphora as the lines begin with the same word and. So this is example of anaphora. Now number 4 is symbolism. See, symbolism, the 2 roads which represents 2 or more choices in our life. Children, symbolism is the use of symbols to signify ideas and qualities by giving them symbolic meaning that are different from their literal sense. So that is two roads which represents two or more choices in our life. The two roads which is given is that two roads represent two or even more choices in our life. We get that chance, isn't it, children? Sometimes you get two options, three options, many choices, but you have to choose any one. Now coming to fifth, number 5, alliteration. See children, alliteration, it is the use of the same letter or sound at the beginning of words that are close together. For example, you see in the second line, third, in the second stanza, third line. Second stanza, third line, wanted, where? W, W. Okay, W sound is repeating. Same way in the next line, first 4, third stanza, first 4, F, the sound F, F. The sound FF, this sound is repeating. So similarly children, so alliteration is the repetition of the same letter or same sound. So two examples I have given, likewise many more are there. For rhyme scheme also, throughout the poem stanza 1, 2, 3, 4, the rhyme scheme is A, B, A and B. Now coming to sixth one, repetition. See children, what is repetition? Repetition is a literary device that repeats the same words or phrases a few times to make an idea clearer and more memorable. So you can see the last stanza, ages and ages. Meaning of ages and ages is for generation, for periods. So ages and ages is repeated. Okay. So this is repetition. Ages and ages is repetition. Same way you can see in the last stanza, two roads diverged. Two roads diverged. This line in the fourth stanza and in the first stanza that begins with two roads diverged. So in the first stanza, two roads diverge, and in the last stanza, in the third line, two roads diverge. Both are repeated. Okay, children. So this is repetition. Clear? And now that's the end of the poetic devices, children. So I will be posting the textual question answers to you very soon. Till then, bye children. Thank you all.